Hey, it's Patrick coming at you with another video, and today is Sunday, and on Sundays I like to open action figures and review them, so I hope you enjoy this video. I have 4 action figures here. I have Marvel's Cannonball with also a Build-A-Figure part. I have the Vision with this Falcon Winter Soldier Build-A-Figure parts. I have kind of a beat-up Superman, but it's still in the package, so it should still be good. And I have this kind of scarce figure from Shazam, Mary. So we're gonna open these figures, take a look at them. So starting with the Superman, this is from the Batman v Superman movie. Found it at Big Lots. It was much less than $10, as the packaging has been seriously compromised, opened, retaped, but everything seems to be here. The little cardboard thing is put in upside down, and on the back it says includes battle shield, which is kind of silly. Why would Superman need a shield? I don't know. He didn't have one in the movie. But the interesting thing about this Superman is it's the new style. See, I have an old classic Superman, and you know, the style was he had the briefs over his tights, which kind of made him look like a wrestler. That was how superheroes were. That was the idea of that. And it was I think it sort of detracts from the whole mythos when they've changed the costume so much to make it look like this sort of rubber suit, like a diving suit or whatever. I think in their minds they thought people might not take Superman as seriously in this new Dark movie with Henry Cavill if he had his briefs on over his tights, because in the last reboot, which was Superman Returns, they pretty much faithfully recreated this outfit, and with Brandon Routh. And I thought there was nothing wrong with Brandon Routh or the other actors. It was just a terribly written story and terribly directed. Simply put, it was boring. And to tell you the truth, they're retooling Superman again because they continually get it wrong. I think Henry Cavill is better, but the fact of the matter is, the reason Superman was popular for so many years, including the 1970s, was because he represented an ideal, what's best in all of us hero. And they have gotten so far away from that in this sort of cynical, dark approach. DC is definitely jumping on the dark bandwagon because their only successful movie they've really had has been Joker. I mean, Wonder Woman was kind of successful, but Joker just absolutely, hands down, is going to set the mold for everything in the DC future, which is going to be dark. And, I mean, and to tell you the truth, though, I don't know if we have much to worry about, because Marvel has declined so much in just 1 year with some increasingly bad TV shows and decisions in the comic book line that have really just continually turned off comic book fans. And I think that we are seeing the beginning of the end of the whole superhero trend. In all honesty, unless, I mean, there may be a few more hot movies, like maybe the Batman will be good. I don't know, but all things considered, I think that we're seeing the end of it. But either way, I'm not here to talk about the future of the movies. I'm here to review action figures. So let's review this figure. This should open pretty easily because of the fact that it's already apparently been opened a lot. On the inside of the packaging, there's a nice picture of Metropolis, which basically fills in for New York. I like that picture a lot, and I like how it's in black and white. Wish there was a way I could kind of use that for something. And first off, he has this ridiculously pointless Superman shield, and I don't know what it's for because Superman blocks. He's already a Man of Steel, so I don't know why he needs a shield. And we take Superman out, and the first thing you notice is he has this very cheap rubber cape. It's not fabric, it's just very, very thin plastic or rubber. It's sort of wrinkled on the top here, and then crudely, this red piece that connects to his neck is supposed to keep that in place, but it's not even set in very well. The facial sculpt somewhat looks like Henry Cavill, but not, I mean, it's not like really, really good, but it's not really terrible either. He has some articulation that's good and some that's not so good. He scales up a little shorter than the classic Superman, but essentially he's in scale with the other DC figures I have. So, and I just dropped a few. But if we hold them up like to Harley Quinn or Katana, okay, so I'm glad they didn't fall in my cup of coffee. His joints are very tight. He has big, giant hands that are a little out of scale that could probably hold something. And whereas the other one has fists, and he doesn't come with any alternate hands. So you know, it's. I think this is more like the bargain line Superman. I'm sure they made a better one, but it's hard. It's hard enough to find a good Superman that doesn't have a ridiculous armor all over him or something. It's weird how his head's like looking down. He seems to be looking down a lot. And I think in the movies they didn't have the Superman logo on the back of his new cape, which is kind of unfortunate because it almost seems like they're embarrassed of their creation and they're trying so hard to make him just recognizable, but they want to make it less like the Superman that we all love, which blows my mind. And once again, I think it's because they are trying to appeal to a demographic that they're never really going to appeal to. Because the demographic they want is the younger generation that they think that if they're dark and edgy, that generation will get interested. But no. What they're doing this, and they're doing this at the expense of the built-in fans they already have. And they're sort of aggressively turning away fans. You see this with Star Wars, Doctor Who, The Terminator, probably Lord of the Rings pretty soon. I mean, so many franchises are annoying or just driving away their fans in order to get another demographic that is not the slightest bit interested in what they have. Anyway, so I never was a fan of this look of Superman. I never was. I think they should stick to the classic. I really do. Captain America generally looks like Captain America always looked like, and that's what people liked about him. They liked to see Captain America being the good guy. They liked to see Iron Man being the good guy. And the direction that Marvel's going in now with all of this subverting things is just going to take it into the garbage can like all the other franchises have gone. So, articulation-wise, he has just a swivel neck, swivel shoulders. He has a swivel elbow, and he has a elbow joint, so he has a little bit of articulation there. Nothing in the torso, swivel hips, and swivel knees. He's a very basic figure with not a lot of articulation. And he has this stupid shield that I don't think I'm going to display him with it because it just looks dumb. And it's molded out of this sort of gold plastic that they love to mold everything in now. This is going to end up in the bag. Okay. I do like my favorite part probably is just the logo on his chest. The only thing that still makes him recognizable is Superman. I mean, I guess if they had gotten rid of that, then no one would even know who the character was anymore, which is kind of where we're getting. Um, the next figure I want to look at is XForce, Marvel's Cannonball. You might remember XForce showing up in, I think, wasn't it Deadpool 2 when he created the XForce, his own team, and it was all done for comic effect. He got all of these, there's Boom Boom, which I have. She's a very cool figure. Um, Guardian, Nightcrawler, and Sinister, and a Wolverine. So you could build Wendigo, and I have some other Wendigo parts. I don't know if I have the parts we need, but or maybe not. I might have actually given them away, which is fine. Yeah, I guess, but I'm not like it's super excited, or it's not necessary for me to build a Wendigo. It's kind of cool, but I'm kind of picky about what characters I want at this point. And the packaging is really cool. Has a picture of the XForce logo. I bought this at Ollie's. It was pretty affordable for a Marvel Legends. I don't think this was a hot selling figure because of the obvious limitations of the figure that you probably have already noticed. So first off, we'll look at this part. This is the Wendigo leg, and he has quite a big foot. So, I have a little collection of Build-A-Figure parts, and sometimes I might just put them all on eBay and sell them all at once, because I don't think I'm going to try to build any of these figures that I have. Although he has quite a cool looking foot here. The figure itself, if we take him out, you will quickly note that he's really just a torso connected to a hollow piece of plastic that looks like a cannonball shot. He himself, he feels like the top part of him, feels great. He's got a great sculpt, and he's wearing his hearing protection and eye protection. He's got a cool jacket on and gloves. This part, no complaints. Of course, this part, you can really only pose him one way. I mean, and I don't think that you could take this part off and connect it to another figure. Maybe you could. I don't know. He has good articulation from the waist up. Get a sip of coffee here. And I do like the jacket. It kind of looks like a leather jacket, the popped collar. I like that a lot. And he has a cool face. You can't get him in a lot. You can get him in that kind of pose. But you're not going to get him in a lot. You can turn them all the way around if you, for some reason, like the other side of the cannon shot better. And the cannon shot is a nice little effect. And I think this is a cool thing to put with the other figures. It probably does look kind of good if you pose them around a lot of other figures. But playability, and not that anyone who buys these really plays with them, they really just pose them and display them. But for playability's sake, there's not a lot going on. I mean, I can't see kids really wanting to play with just the upper torso of an action figure as much as they would want a figure that could do much more. And so there is Marvel's Cannonball. The next figure I want to show you is a special one. This is one my wife gave me because we both watched and enjoyed WandaVision. Probably the only Marvel show that was really good. I thought Falcon Winter Soldier was pretty good. It just wasn't as interesting as WandaVision. WandaVision was very creative, and until the last episode, it was really good. Great acting, and Catherine Hahn is a national treasure. She is such a great villain, and what we see here is, spoilers, Vision's dead body that has been reanimated. Not with an Infinity Stone, but with science that they did. Which, and if you've watched that ridiculous Loki show, you'll find out that none of this really matters anymore because they're just going to continually take Marvel in bad directions. But WandaVision, it seemed like, I think it was their strongest offering, to tell you the truth. I don't see anything in What If that looks even the slightest bit interesting. I would have much preferred stories like Thanos being a good guy, or something that was actually really compelling, not just swapping one character for another. I think that there's a real massive lack of imagination at Marvel now. But the picture looks much better than the figure. I wish it looked a little bit more like that. But he does look sort of sinister. And then you can build Captain America with the Falcon wings. And there's also a really, really good Scarlet Witch figure that looks a lot like Elizabeth Olsen. If you were a fan of Loki, you can get a Loki figure. You could get a Winter Soldier. You can get a U.S. Agent, who was Kurt Russell's son in Falcon the Winter Soldier. And then they also have Baron Zemo, who was a pretty good character in that show, and the new Captain America, who is Anthony Mackie, a.k.a. Falcon. Which, like I said, Falcon Winter Soldier I liked. But I only got a few episodes into Loki before I just stopped watching. I just thought it was a combination of boring and just pointless. Just basically just deconstructing an interesting character for the sake of whatever. I don't even know anymore what they are thinking. They it just seems like the same people who run Star Wars are now in charge of Marvel. There's 2 Falcon Build-A-Figure parts here. And if I decide to get this whole wave, which I doubt I will, the only other figure I probably would get in this is the Scarlet Witch. But put these aside, and then he also comes with extra hands, which is always nice. And now let's take a look at this figure, and I already like a lot of things about it. I do like the sculpt; it's very, very good. I mean, there's no doubt Marvel Legends still are the standard for this 6-inch figure. The cape, very, very nice. I'm very, very much like the cape. Let's compare him to 2 other Vision figures that I have. Very similar to the one I'm holding in my left hand, which was just a standard Vision, but he's sort of translucent. And then this regular Vision, not as much detail in the cape, but the colors may be a little off. It's hard to say. It's like 3 different Visions. One of my favorite characters by far. Paul Bettany just nails it. He's a likable, great character. I love the story between Scarlet Witch and Vision. It is interesting that this Vision is so much smaller than this one. Almost seems like he's a different scale in a way. This Vision is much more tall, and I think, I don't know which one's more accurate, to tell you the truth. And then he is similar to his height, and I guess this Vision is so much bigger. I do really like this one. It's just really hard to say. You got three completely different Visions here. Now, this, of course, is the reanimated dead body of Vision. And they actually go head-to-head in the show. But since the Vision that we know and love can't leave Wanda's little fantasy world, he does try to impart something into this Vision, so this one can carry on as the original Vision with his soul intact. So some of the effects I like about it is the slightly different colors. I don't know if any of you ever watched Battlestar Galactica, the original classic series, but there was an episode where Apollo got stuck into this world where everything turned white, all of his uniforms and everything. What they ended up doing is just basically making an identical uniform, just in different shades of white. But it was a really cool effect, and this is what it reminds me of. I really do like his transparent cape. The face is really, really good. They all look like Paul Bettany. He's sort of bubblegum colored, and of course he has that great Marvel Legends articulation with all of the incredible ways to pose. You can pose him in a flying or fighting. You have fists you can put on his hands. But I think I absolutely prefer these open hands. I just feel like Vision is more of a philosophical hero than, a two-fisted hero. So, that is my WandaVision, the Vision. And finally, we have one more figure to look at here, and this is Shazam from the DC movie that was DC's answer to Deadpool and maybe Big a little bit. Mary, we got this figure, number one, it looks like my wife Mary, and I thought that was cool, and it's named Mary, and she is also coming with this stretchy sloth. They all come with like a little stretchy animal, and I wish there was like a little biography on the back, but there's really not. She's dressed very much like Shazam. I'll be honest, I didn't really watch the movie. It just never really jumped out at me. I do intend to, and so the only reason I bought this figure is like I just said. But nonetheless, it's still worth a look. Okay, first I want to look at this stretchy sloth, and yes, it is very stretchy. You'd have to tell me that was a sloth for me to know, because it just looks kind of like a generic thing, but apparently it's a sloth. It's kind of like a Stretch Armstrong, but I'm afraid to pull it too much, because I just have a feeling it would break. I don't know, maybe not. And but it's interesting looking. and when it's not stretching, it does look like a hard plastic figure. And then let's take her out of the package. It's good because there's not a lot of female DC characters to get, so this is kind of nice. She has her, you know, the cape looks almost kind of like, it just suggests a little bit of the whole, you know how Wonder Woman is kind of dressed like a Greek, or, and this sort of has like a Greek or Roman thing going on. But it's just also the costume in the movie. They had very short capes in the movie. She has swivel head. And I think that's about the only movement you can do with her hair like that. Pretty good face sculpt. I wish they'd had a picture of her on the package. Ball hinge in the shoulders. Ball hinge in the elbows. Swivel wrists, so pretty good articulation there. Swivel torso, and she has a very flexible skirt, so you can, she has swivel hips, you can almost make her sit. She has a ball hinge in the knees, which is good, and no articulation in the ankles, but she's, you can put her in some decent poses even with her clothing. You could almost get her to sit, but not quite. So you can get her in her little fight pose, but there's not a lot you can do. Her head just doesn't move around a lot, but it's still a good looking figure. And with the other DC figure we looked at today, it stacks up pretty well next to him. One thing I can't stand about this Superman figure is his big giant hands. I mean, they are just huge. It's like they just kind of like gave up around this point when they were designing it. Like, forget the hands. So this is Mary from the Shazam movie. Pretty good figure. So of all these figures, I think obviously he ranks number 1. She number 2. Sadly enough, Cannonball number 3. This Superman is just done in by these terrible hands, and this messy cape situation here. They could have done a lot better, I think, but you know, for what this figure was originally priced at too, I think they could have done much better than this. Because it's hard enough to find a good Superman action figure for your DC collection without, you know, just kind of a trashy one. I mean, still, this is my favorite classic Superman. He's simple, but he looks like Superman. He doesn't have the greatest articulation, but he's in great scale. And just a heroic looking figure any way you look at it, whereas this one just, like the franchise, looks like what it is, a decline. And we're seeing that in everything right now. And some of the best things to watch nowadays are becoming documentaries. Like I'm watching this new documentary about Bob Ross, which is sad but very true. I don't know if you follow the whole drama with that, but Bob Ross was a really great artist when I was a kid. When he passed away, some people have turned his legacy and his name into just the selling everything from breath mints to just stupidity. Sad how an estate and a legacy has been so mismanaged. Hopefully we'll get to a point where we stop seeing that so much. Well, and then we also looked again at some of these other visions. And I hope you enjoyed the video. So please rate, comment, subscribe. Bye.